Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Freeman Files on the J Free 906 podcast. We got a great show for you here tonight. Special guest should be joining us here in just a moment. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We appreciate that very much. And if you haven't already, we'd like if you would subscribe to the channel and click on that notification bell so that you know when we have new videos coming out. That you never know when we're gonna, make up something new, do a new video and put it up on the YouTube channel. So click on that notification bell. And if you are, yes, the truth is out there and in here. Absolutely. Thank you. And if you haven't already, if you like the content of our show we do for you here tonight, please give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that very much. Our guest tonight had appeared on Beyond Oak Island with Matty Blake and Gypsy Jules, and they were out looking for the Sam Bass, the treasure of Sam Bass. And her name is Donna McCauley. She is a historian and treasure hunter. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her on with us right now. And you are still muted. There you go. Fine. How you doing, Donna?
Hi.
It's been a while since we've had you on the podcast, and a lot has happened in that last time, or during this time, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, been busy. Treasure hunting, all kinds of stuff.
Yep, that's fantastic. So, what I wanted to do was, for those who may not be familiar with you, I wanted to just kind of start off by asking the question of how did you get started? I know you're a historian as well as a treasure hunter and a metal detectorist. And I see you got your metal detector right there behind you on the piano bench. I think that's the same one I have, the Ace Apex from Garrett. I love that machine, a great metal detector. So how did you get started in all this? Where did your interest start to get you involved in all of this, in the treasure hunting?
Well, my dad, he metal detected with one of them huge metal detectors. I mean, it took one of those big old 9-volt batteries. It was so heavy. Yeah. And anyway, so he used to metal detect. We used to go down there in Arizona around the Dutchman mine and stuff, and metal detect over there in the mines around. And I just thought, when you find that little piece of gold, you just get hooked. Mm-hmm. And then we started finding old coins, and I just got hooked. And I bought me an old white metal detector, which was cheap. I think I got it from, I don't know where I got it from, but it was a cheapie. And then that's when I got this nicer one because it picks up more relics and stuff. And I just been metal detecting for probably 40-something years. Wow. I find lots of metal and coins and interesting things.
Yep, and a lot of junk too. I know I have in my process of that. And I started off. The first one I had was a white coin master. That was the first metal detector I had. And I did I found a lot of things in the yard with it, dug up a lot of stuff.
Lots of nails.
A lot of nails, pull tabs from the pop can that used to have the pull tabs on them, and a lot of those. But it's so, you never know. And that's one of the things for me anyway, personally, is that when you're out there and you're detecting and you get that beep and that thrill just comes in you because you just don't know yet what it is or what it is, and you got to dig it. And I'm one of those people, I dig everything. I mean, I do. You get that low tone, burp, 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 and it's iron or a nail or something, but I dig it anyway because I have to know. So.
Oh, I know, me too. You might dig a mile. It's kind of like you got steel toe boots on and you keep hitting it and the way you see your steel toe boots.
Oh, I've had some things like that happen. Yeah, I sure I'll pick up my shovel because my shovel's too close or something like that. But Albert said my first detector was a treasure tracker made by J.C. Penney. Wow, that's pretty cool. So
mine was a white.
that mine white coin master. My mom had actually gotten it at a yard sale. And I think she paid like $5 for it or something like that. But it worked. It did a good job. Mm-hmm. So as you know, I've been doing this. We followed up on the show about Beyond Oak Island, and which you were featured on for the Sam Bass. You and Matty Blake and Gypsy Jules out there. And because that show was discontinued, they didn't keep it going. Because of that, a lot of people were asking, hey, what's going on with these folks that you talked to before? Where is their research now? So that's part of what the Lost Treasures of North America is all about. And I know that, talking with you over the last couple of years, we've found that you are continuing to work on different things, one of which is still the Sam Bass. I know you've got other stuff, but we're going to get into that as we go along. So, as of the show, you were looking at a couple of different spots. I think you guys looked in it was like an old, there was a lid. It was like I
Yeah,
remember
that
this.
was at Sam Springs. That was
Oh,
in Springtown.
okay. And where is that? That's in Texas there?
Yeah, I think the show called it Mineral Springs or something. I don't know why they did that, but
Yeah.
it is Springtown.
Hmm.
Um, and it was on this guy's land. I mean, he's got thousands and thousands of acres, but that's actually where Arkansas Johnson is buried. One of his
Oh.
buddies, that ran with him. There was
Hmm.
that big shootout, and that's why we thought that's probably where a lot of the loot was buried there.
Hmm.
Because when they got shot, he died. Well, they had a haul butt.
Yep, yep, exactly. Tell us a little bit about the Sam Bass story for those who might not know. I know I've dug into it a little bit, and I was actually watching the episode when you were on the History Channel and beyond. Tell us a little bit about the Sam Bass story. And I guess he started off. He came out west to be a rancher, and then ended up robbing trains or something.
Yeah, he came out to be a rancher over in Denton. Then he bought a horse and named him Denton Mare. He raced that a while, and then he worked for a sheriff. So him and Joe Collins went up there, took a bunch of cattle up there to North Dakota.
Mhm.
Well, they got $8,000, but they gambled it,
Oh.
spent it, so they had to figure out how am I going to get this. So that's when they started robbing. And
Mhm.
then they come back to Texas. They were all over our area in Parker County, Tarrant, up Allen, because that's where a lot of those trains were coming out. They
Mhm.
would ride all the way to Sherman, Texas, but they would rob those. I think there was 3 trains in this area, Allen, Texas, and a few others. They took $10 gold pieces, $20 gold pieces, but the ones we were mostly interested in was the $20 gold pieces that they were being sent back off to get minted because they weren't minted, so they were going back to Denver. Well, anyways, he got all those. By accident, they found those. I guess they were in some kind of wooden boxes. But he also didn't do that. He also robbed stagecoaches in between, probably about 10 miles from my house. So we know he lived in this area because he was dating that Hill Gang girl. They're called Hill Gang sisters. They would go,
Okay. Yep, I've heard of
and
them.
yeah, and him and Nance was dating. So we know that they were in that area because they were from Springtown. So because the 2 sisters got killed over there, not too far from where Sam Bass's hideout was, where
Mhm.
we was all out there, Matty Blake and Gypsy. Remember that thing we opened up? Well,
Yes.
got in there, and we did find some evidence that he was there, but we just couldn't find the gold coins.
Right.
So let me tell you, when I'll get later on the story about one gold coin did get found.
Oh,
But
okay.
so after he got done doing all that, and then he wound up going, he was only an outlaw for 2 years. Then he went over there to Round Rock and, died there. But, I don't know about that because I talked to his brother's fourth great grandson,
Uh-huh.
and it was Sam Bass's brother. He contacted me not too long ago and said that it'd be his brother, so was sitting there next door because he's in jail. He didn't die right off the bat, Sam Bass. He's sitting in jail. His brother's in the hotel. Now, why was his brother there? His brother was there because he wanted to take his body back to Michigan, where he come from, to
Mm.
put him on the farm. Now, if
Right.
that's true, I don't know. But this is what this guy said. He was related to Sam Bass. That Sam Bass and his great great grandpa was brothers. If that's true, I don't know, but that's now got me going down a rabbit hole over that. Is he really buried there around Rock, or did they take him back to his farm where he originally come from?
Right.
You know,
Wow.
so I don't know.
Huh. Now, when you say these coins were unminted, so does that mean they're just
How it's
blank?
got the D or the S or the P.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
they forgot to mint it, so they were shipping them back to get a mint, and that was where I was buried.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were in a box, and they're at the time, and I know on the show, and again, sometimes they don't get all the facts exactly straight, but on the show it said at the time in that 1877, these coins would have been worth about $60,000, and nowadays, in modern times, it would be worth more like 5 or 6 million, especially because they were uncirculated.
And because
And
of being considered museum pieces, they're worth way more than that. We do know there is one. I got to hold that in my hand, and that was over at the Texas Ranger Museum there in Waco. Remember, you saw that? Where I
oh,
got
yes, I did.
that's what
Yep.
they look like. Well,
Now, where did you think that one came from? Who
that
found that?
was okay. That come from, I guess, when he was down there at Round Rock, they were going to
Mhm,
saloons, and he gave the bartender that $20 gold piece.
mhm.
Well, he kept it, that $20 gold piece, and it got put down generations. That's what Texas Ranger Museum people told me. They donated it, and that is in a vault, a big vault. We had to go through a big vault. They had to shut the cameras off, I guess, so you didn't know exactly where it was at in the building. Then it come out of another vault. Like
Right.
that's their biggest treasure, evidently. But you should have saw all the guns. They even had one of Sam Bass's guns there. Now,
Really?
I don't
Wow.
know if they filmed that, but I had it on my hip, and it went past my knees.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
in saddle guns. They said they'd leave it in the saddle, that way they could pull it out and shoot real quick. It was
Wow.
heavy.
Tom just asked a question. Is it true that there is no known pictures of Sam Bass after he was captured? Do you,
Not
I,
that I know. I've never
mm,
seen any. Remember, cameras weren't really popular back then.
mm.
He just didn't die right off the bat. But I don't know. I think one of them said something about he thought he was very wounded around Fort Worth. No, that was Round Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see it here. Yeah, that was Albert Atwell. It
Mhm.
wasn't Sam Bass buried around near Fort Worth. Yeah.
Mhm.
So okay, so when he was doing this, and again, I go back to the storyline that was being told by Prometheus and History Channel, talking about Sam. And of course, they had these unminted, brand spanking new $20 gold pieces, and they they thought, oh my gosh, we need to sit on these. So they buried. Now, according to what the show said, they buried them in 4 different locations. Um, and in your opinion, in the research if you've done, would those be like all within a general area, or could they be spread out over several states?
Well, I know they're not in Nebraska because they did find some, and then I do know up there in Denton, they would every year have a melee detecting where everybody could come up there and melee detect there, find Sam Bass's gold. That was a long time ago. No one ever found nothing.
Wow.
Now, because of the old newspapers, because me being a historian, I started going down a rabbit hole. I'm talking about all night long researching. And I have all these old newspapers. They're actually newspapers. And where was okay? So Mineral Wells, it was ancient Indian Joe. He had witnessed Sam Bass put in a bunch of bags in this cave. Of course, when the 1940s or something, this guy had a big doodle bug, whatever it's, I don't know, they call it doodle bug. It could have been just a big metal detector
Mhm.
back in the 40s. But he had hit it, but then there was a landslide, so it covered up that area.
Oh,
And I know exactly where it's at because there used to be a welcome sign there, and in that newspaper it said what letter it was under. Well, after we went up there and really dug deeper after the cactus died out, we did find the evidence where that sign was.
mhm,
So we measured the actual sign because they had moved it. Now we're going, with the ruler or tape or whatever to
mhm,
count the steps, and we're going to dig right there. Now we did go down into the well that's inside the house that they
mhm,
built around. We dug, but then we started hitting like clumps of like water. So we
mhm.
thought we better stop because you got to remember that's inside of a home.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
want to flood it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think it's up there in the cave since there was actual write up about it. And
Mhm,
then the other one, there was a write up over there at they called it, they're in Springtown, Sam Bass Springs, which there was a big article in the 70s over that. I think they used to go over there and I don't know, have get-togethers or whatever. That made the town. But we did go. Shook, he's the one that does that producer for Skinwalker Ranch's stuff. Well, we
Uh-huh.
rode up my Polaire out, and it was very dangerous. I couldn't do it because I started scaring everybody because I had the producers, from them and the other place. Matty was with us, and I don't think they liked my driving because you had to go through these little skinny areas and there's like cliffs. But we did get to this waterfall. And then we ran across where Arkansas Johnson, there was a metal plate scene. This is where he died at. He's buried there.
Oh, wow.
I figured that is the spot that we really need to be looking at.
Yeah, for
Right
sure.
there. But we couldn't get all the camera people in there, but we will go back to that.
Wow.
But let me tell you about this.
Okay.
A few months ago, I got a call, and right up from that spring where we was looking at Springtown, that was the first place we was looking at in the episode.
Right.
This man was sitting there on the edge of the spring, and he saw something shiny. He went in there and grabbed it. It was actually one of the $20 gold pieces
Really?
we're looking for. Of course, he kept it. I guess you can keep it if you find one, You find the loot, you can't. But yeah, I was like, I'll buy it from you, but I can't afford it. It's not money for it.
I can't even imagine how much one would be worth. It's got to be astronomical.
It'd be nice to find a few of them.
Oh my gosh.
I just want to find it so I could just go on with something else.
Right. Yeah. So during his reign of robbing stagecoaches and trains, I mean, he was spreading hiding a lot of the loot. I was sure he was spending some of it too, but not those, because those would be recognized right away. Those unminted brand new gold pieces. That would give him away pretty quickly. But so he continued to stash stuff around the area. Man.
Well, those are the two places I'm pretty sure they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, he did rob the train in Allen. There was $10 gold pieces over there. He robbed trains in Fort Worth. He robbed everywhere. Besides stagecoaches, the whole 9 yards. Well, I do know it's probably 20 miles west of me from Fort Worth. They're on the other side of Weatherford. They were out looking for Sam Bass. Okay, because he was in that area after robbing that one train that had $10 gold pieces. Well, he went in the house, him and Joe Collins wanting to get something to eat. The lady says, sure. Back then they fed people. And then when she went to take the plate up after they left, there was $10 gold pieces under there. So he was spending it. That's in a big write-up over there. The house don't exist anymore, but the land's still there. How do I know there's not some buried there? I don't know, but it's hard to get on that land. But, they think there could be some hidden Allen, because he did that big, train robbery there. It's outside of Fort Worth, but closer to Dallas.
Yeah, I see Jared was asking, where did he frequent? So it would have been all of those areas in there.
Yeah, it was like a triangle, it seemed like. From my map, me searching, he was going from up around Millsap, Mineral Wells, staying along the interstate. Of course, the interstate wasn't built then. And then he would go up to Weatherford, Parker County, Springtown, Azle. He'd go over to Fort Worth, Dallas, to Allen. And he stayed in those areas. He tried to stay out of Denton, because he would have been recognized.
Right.
Which is on the other side of Fort Worth. Then that's that one time. Let's go around, Rock. That's all it took.
Yeah. Wow. Does Donna have anything on a cache or caches of Sam Bass near Skeen Peak?
No, I don't have anything on that, Albert.
Yeah.
No, I was where the newspaper said.
There's another question here. It was about Albert. Oh yeah, it's from Albert. It says Frank James, Jesse's brother, was with them. Is there any evidence of that Frank James ran with Sam Bass at all?
No, I think that was well, it seemed like Sam would have been a lot younger if he did. I don't know. I've never really, I've heard stories about that, but I've never seen anything in the newspapers. I try to not go off too much with oral because I'll be wasting my time. I go on with what old newspapers sightings said back in the day, the 1800s. Because me being a historian, I do go with, oral too, but not as much. But yeah, there's been up there around Allen, there is a map I did run across, but trying to get to that is I don't know. It's like grown up. It's awful. Maybe one day if they have a fire through there, maybe a person can get through there. But there's no way getting through there. But there possibly
Oh,
could be
wow.
some news loop there too in Allen, which is that side of Dallas.
Hmm. Wow. During what years did all of this take place? I know he robbed that one train in 1877. So what other years was,
Yeah, I mean 77 to 78, and then he died.
yeah,
He wasn't an outlaw very long, less than 2 years.
wow. Yeah, a couple of years. Yeah. Wow.
Hmm. But his one partner, Frank, he went to New Mexico. And how do we know? Now he knows where everything's buried at. He was up there at Round Rock. He got away. Now, did he go on his way to get all the loot and then head to New Mexico? He had a big ranch up there,
Mhm.
a huge ranch. Don't know.
Hmm. Tom was asking a question. Are there any stories or rumors of anyone who became unexpectedly wealthy,
Yeah,
suspected of finding
his
the loot?
partner
Yeah.
went to New Mexico. He was pretty wealthy because he had bought a lot of land up there, had a big ranch.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that would be the ones you look for. We have that story on Oak Island about Samuel Ball being very wealthy, and everybody kind of wondered, did he find some of that
You
treasure on
know
Oak
he did.
Island? Yeah, I know.
Let me tell you,
So
there was
well,
back in the I think early '80s, they were tearing a building down because you remember, like okay, there was a bank there in Weatherford. In fact, that's where our office is out of. Is on the left side of that bank,
mhm,
uh, and that might be why I like that place because it all ties in. So there was a rumor that Sam Bass was coming to rob that bank. So the president, stood out there in a rocking chair with a shotgun, and that guy come up, Sam Bass come up, and he said, "You ain't robbing me today. I heard you was coming to rob me or something." That was in the little piece of paper in Weatherford. I thought that was kind of a cute story, but that was interesting. But one day I'm gonna find it. I don't know. I'm hoping. I wish I could get more people involved. The more, the better.
I'll come and help.
And then, but the guy that I know I could get on both lands because the guy that owns Sand Springs up there, Springtown,
Mhm.
across the street, he was telling me in Gypsy that time, he says, "You guys go across the street, you metal detect over there." Because when they were laying pipe, like those, when they're building, I guess, gas pipes and stuff,
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
they found a bunch of gold bars. Well, we know
Wow.
that's not Sam Bass's gold. That was Cortez's gold.
Oh, wow.
And he said, "Go Melly checked all around there because maybe they didn't find it all." So we went out there one day, but grass was so tall, we just
Yeah, it's hard to.
and
Yep.
it was like 100 and something degrees that Gypsy like almost passed out.
Oh,
I had to like pick her up. She actually almost fainted. I mean, I
oh,
had to get
wow.
her up, get her in the car, and we had to get back over to the people that was next door.
Mhm.
And Gloria was putting her wet rags on us. Yeah, it was terrible. That
Wow.
was a different time. Now, Maddie almost passed out. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
we
that.
all had
Yep.
a heat stroke except for Gypsy. You think
Yep.
she would have had one with dark hair?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was it's funny you speak of Gypsy. I just got a chance to talk to her again. I was at her metal detecting event she had in Kirkville, Texas last year.
Hmm.
And then this just a couple months ago in Arkansas, we got to go down at the Treasure Fest,
Yeah.
Cadell Treasure Fest. She was there, and I got to hang out with her a little bit. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, she's of course big Garrett.
Hmm.
Working with Garrett quite a bit on metal
I left
detectors.
that one.
Yep, yep. And then she was the
We
one that
had a heck
recommended
of a show.
she's the one that recommended the Ace Apex for me, and I love that machine.
Get you
Really.
get a discount.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, yep.
You go there, you get a discount.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So, okay, so you've got a couple more places. You've got some interesting spots that you're going to go back and look again. Is that going to be coming up here yet this year or next year?
I'm going back over to Mineral Wells because the cactus will be dying out through the winter. I'm going back
Mhm.
there. I'm just waiting another month for it to die out. Because remember, I was telling you about that welcome sign. That way I could get over into there. So we pinpointed it kind of. I'm going to go there. And then I'm going to go back out there to Sam Springs in Springtown.
Mhm.
But Gypsy's been so busy, so now I might have to find somebody to go with me out there because I really don't go out there by myself because there's mountain lions over there.
Oh yeah.
See, I figured it could get her and I could run. No, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do
I
that.
don't have to outrun the mountain lion. You just have to outrun her. Yeah.
He was all watching her over our heads, though.
Yeah. Wow. We definitely, man, I don't know. I'd love to help and participate. I know you had mentioned about another place that you're working, metal detecting and looking for like Civil War artifacts and whatnot. I'd love to do that as well. So
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have to come out to Texas with Christina, and we're gonna come and we'll meet you in person and come out and have some fun.
people think so. Everything's gonna be from the 1800s out here, mid 1800s. No, my friend was out plowing, which is not. It's probably 20 miles from here. They found a gun that was the mid 1500s. People
Really?
have been out here.
Wow.
You got to remember the Spaniard. This wasn't United States where we're at back then. You could
Uh-huh.
have Cortez's gold. You could have Santa Anna stuff, for Revolution War. You got all kinds of stuff here, not
Yeah.
just up there around Pennsylvania. Everybody wants to go up there to hunt, you know.
Mhm.
And then you got to be careful, what
Oh
you
yeah.
do.
Yeah. That's where I'm at in Pennsylvania, and you're right. Speaking of Santa Ana, that's a whole nother storyline, and
Mhm.
the Carl Curtis excavations. And I'm looking, I've got that Telegraph, the editorial from the San Antonio Express up
Yep.
on my screen here. And I can show this. So let's go down
Yeah.
that rabbit hole just for a minute, and I'll bring up that picture real quick. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't. Hang on, bear with me just a moment. I thought I had it all set up. I did not.
You have one
Uh,
right back here if you don't.
yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
So the San Antonio Express, and this is from 1915. What's this all about?
Okay, that's Santa Ana gold that's sealed in a mine. Well, that mine is exactly 13 miles from my house.
Oh,
And
wow.
what happened was John Curtis, um, when it was in like 1856, 52, he had come to Weatherford. You got to remember, it was just Native Americans, and the Pilgrims started taking over the city. So there was a lot of fighting back and forth. But he wound up going to California and hit the gold rush. Evidently, he must have got a good load because he come back and had some buildings. He come the very first mayor of
Mm.
Weatherford, which
Oh,
is
wow.
13 miles. Then that's when he bought all this land where that Curtis Mines is, because his name's John Curtis, so they just called it Curtis Mines, but it really belonged to Santa Ana. And that's where they would put gunpowder or gold bars, storing it because of the Revolution War. So they didn't get took from them. Well,
Right.
they left all that there. There was a rock which was on that picture. I
Oh,
can get this paper if you want me to.
I can bring it back up. Let's see.
Okay, well, there's this rock, and it showed some stuff on it, and underneath it, I don't know why they didn't show underneath it in the paper. They're just showing the top part of that rock up there.
This
So
one
anyway,
right here.
it was also, yeah. So there was some trees, and it said so many steps this way and so forth. So when he did, there was a bunch of brush, whatever, and he found this little opening, which was partly sealed up. But he went in it, and it was a great room. He had to go through a little tunnel, but then it was opened into a great room,
Hmm.
huge room. They said I never been in it because it's been sealed. This last time it was open was in the 40s, but and we can't find really pictures because they kept it under the wraps, I guess, because of the gold in there. But John Curtis, he died from black lung from being in tunnels. He passed it down to his son. It went down 3 generations to Carl Curtis. And then his fourth great grandson is the one I interviewed, and he told me all about it because he happened to be, which he's like 90, he just passed away a few months ago, but I videotaped him and interviewed him.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he would go down there when he was a little kid, and his dad would charge a nickel, and you could go through the tunnels. I guess they were safe, just allowing people to go in the tunnels. And
Mm-hmm.
then he found some stuff, but then I think it was when the war started, World War II, he got drafted, so he sealed all the mines up
Oh,
and
wow.
went. But those tunnels go all under Weatherford. I think it was, he said he dug 3 miles of tunnels himself. Prior to
Wow.
that, was a lot of tunnels and big chambers. but I want to get into that so bad and get to. I think he was talking about Albert was talking about, was it Jesse James?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm. Well,
well,
Frank James, yeah.
when I went over to this man's house that owns the Curtis Cemetery, because he turned it into a cemetery. The
Mhm.
shafts are all there, which you got a map. It shows a map I sent you, and on the wall was actual letters and stuff because his wife is related to that Frank James, the boys, the outlaws. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But he told me that I could go ahead and dig in that one area, but I can't go in the cemetery. But out of the cemetery, there is one. Those are the trees I was talking about,
Mhm.
those trees aren't there anymore. That's no map from, you know, way back then, but it had markings on it, and that's how they knew where to find that vault, the shaft at. But
Yep.
the guy, the fourth great grandson, Don Curtis, he had drew me a new map, which I can't show anybody because if I do, then they're all going to run out there and beat me to the punch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Yeah,
understand. You gotta keep that close to
where it's at. But he did take me out there and drew it, and it's in his old drawing, his map, which he's like 80 something,
Mhm.
90 almost when he drew it, so it's kind of scribbly, but it shows three spots. Two spots I can't. One's underneath people's houses. They start building houses. And then the other one's in the cemetery, which you cannot dig in a cemetery. The other one's out of the
Right.
cemetery, which is nothing in the way, and that'd be the place. I just need to tear up a little asphalt. I just got to
Wow.
get the city's permission. But
Yeah.
the owner of the cemetery in the land says I could do it.
Oh, wow. Wow. So I'm sorry, who are you waiting on the permission from?
The city,
Okay. Wow.
and
You
good
would
luck.
think that, and you had mentioned before that that was sealed up, and then you said that there was some like shafts that were drilled downward into this, right? That are still open
Oh,
today.
well, no. Well, you could dig about 2 or 3 feet, move that dirt, and
Uh-huh.
there is three areas that has gunpowder
Mm.
barrels, and it's got a pick on top of it. But that's what Santa Anna did was he would store all his gunpowder all over Texas, everywhere, probably all the way into Utah. To fight the Revolution War.
Yeah, that was just
The
stashes.
shots are next to those gunpowders. Why they were next to the gunpowders, I don't know. Maybe it was when they had sealed it up, you got lucky and you blew yourself up. People trying to steal his gold. I don't know. Lots
Maybe,
of
yeah,
booby
booby trap of some sort. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
But that's a
So,
very interesting story, and I'd like to get into that because
mhm,
I think that's supposed to be a lot more worth gold than Sam Bass's gold. But I
mm,
still want to find Sam Bass's gold.
right. So, and how long have you been researching into this story?
Oh, I've been doing that probably for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
First, everybody kept saying that's not true, and that's not true. Then I got a call because there is a nursing home on the corner started falling in. And I went to look because they heard I was into tunnels and stuff. And
Mhm.
I went to look and I said, that is part of the Curtis mines. He went all over the town. There's tunnels all underneath the town. Uh,
Mm.
and when your thing starts caving in, so what they had to do, now I won't be able to pass that mark because they filled it in with cement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those tunnels aren't very deep under the ground, but the big chamber is. And
Yeah.
they were in that area where the tunnels, so they started pumping a bunch of cement. I'm like, oh no, because what if that's the way to get to the chamber? I'm not going to be able
Right.
to get
Yeah.
through there. I don't know.
Wow.
But they had to do what they had to do, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But
Oh,
and
there's
you
a
said
country singer called me, and he is heavily involved in this Curtis Mines. And I thought, ooh, he's got some money, maybe being a country singer, that maybe he'll do some pull, to
uh,
get it going.
that'd be good. Yeah, for sure. So, and you said there was some talk of there being some like petroglyphs or carvings or pictographs on the walls down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
I don't know how come those are there. I don't. I don't know if. I mean, you got to remember. How do we know those weren't even there back in the Native American time?
right?
Just like up there in Utah, they got stuff up there, But then when they all go, then you got new people come in, then they start, I'd never seen them. That's just what I had heard that they had put that, we have never seen any pictures inside there. It's just write-ups and then stories of people being in there, but evidently they never took pictures or they have them. I do know his son is supposed to be looking through his old pictures after his dad died to see if there is some.
Wow. That's an interesting story. Wow, there's a lot going on in that area where you live down there.
Oh yeah, and then I got and then you got also where the Confederate soldiers. There's a park there, which I get permission because if I find anything, I have to, turn it over to them. Which I donate a lot of stuff to the Weatherford College, anyways. If I find Native American artifacts and things like that, some stuff I keep. I'd give them their choice because what am I going to do with it?
Right. Yeah.
This way it'll go on forever.
Yep.
And then I go over there and I found this creek. Well, Gypsy was with me that time. We found a bunch of old bottles, old dishes, things like that. It's where they used to dump stuff, but they couldn't burn it because there was no dump ground back then. And I found some bottles from the 1800s. Them forks, they only had 3 prongs on it back in the day. We found dishes and stuff. Shoehorns. I think I sent you a picture of the bottles in that shoehorn. I don't know. And then a little kid's shoehorn I found. Oh, and I forgot a cannonball. A cannonball, and I forgot to send that. I guess out in the garage. Yeah, see, that's that shoehorn right there, little kid's shoehorn. I've always seen big ones, never seen a little one. And then there was a snake bottle, but the outside of the label wasn't there. But the college said that used to be them snake. What do you call it? Like a snake bottle, like them tonic deals back in the day. Snake oil. Yeah.
Oh yeah, snake oil. Yeah.
On the cowboy day, that's what they said that bottle was.
Yeah. Wow. I consider this treasure too. I mean, a lot of people don't, it's a glass bottle. Who cares? But that's treasure.
That color in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. The far left.
Yeah, this one here. Yeah, I love that.
In little teeny bottles. Yeah, we got cut up that day, and I fell. And I wear this watch, one of them, what are those watches everybody wears? And I fell. It was called 911.
Oh no!
And that's when we found that little cannonball. It's just, just about that big. And I thought, wow. But that's up at Soldier Springs Park. That's where Confederate people hung out at back in 1860. And then I think there was, I don't know if I sent those to you or not, but I don't know if you can see these.
Oh, yeah, you did. Here, I got a picture of that.
But, if I find like certain important stuff, I have to give it to them because this is government property.
Right. Now, those are 2, they call that a 2-ring or a 3-ring?
I think it was a 3-ring. I can't see very well.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there is 3 on here.
They feel like rock. So
What's
weird.
that?
Feels like rock.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because it was just fossiled into the ground or something, maybe. I don't know. And then, of course, so that's an interesting place. Gypsy's been out there with me a few times. And then, of course, I've found buffalo teeth.
Yeah, that's what this is here. I got a picture of it up here now.
I took that up to the Weatherford College because horse teeth all looks alike and cow teeth, but they said that was buffalo. They got some machines that dates things. And then, of course, I found, arrowheads and scraping tools. Here's another one. And then Indian beads. I don't know if you can see it. They're different sizes.
Now, this one here, this is a piece of shovel?
Yeah. I took that in. And you know how they would carry shovels on the horse saddles?
Yep.
All cowboys did that back in the day. That's what that was because they dated it back to the 1850s, 1860s. And then, because here's that piece. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Here's the part you would dig, and here's where the handle was. See how them rocks are all embedded in it?
Yep.
And then I love this thing. Of horse.
Oh, the knife. Yeah, I got a picture of that here too, right here.
Yeah. And that's a pocket knife, and they dated that back to like 1850, 1860. So
Wow.
that's in another little area, and it's a cowboy camp is what I'm thinking. And then, of course, finding these old, I think that's a Tennessee Walker horseshoe.
It's a big one.
Yeah, and finding stuff like that was kind of neat. And of course, I find old coins. I remember on the backside of my property, because Gypsy was so upset because we was out there looking. She didn't find it, but I found it was 1878 dollar coin, silver dollar coin. Yeah, and that was on back of my property because this used to be cattle land here. So I guess cowboys probably riding their horses and stuck their hand in their pocket, and there it went in the dirt. It has one black mark across it because this is black land up here.
Oh, okay.
Where I'm at.
This one here. There's and I think it's. Well, I saw this behind you. Let me bring it up here. This is an old lantern. Where'd you find that?
I have that. Let me get that. That's on the ground here. I want to do a close up. I left it just like it is because it's a good conversation piece. I found this and look. Let me see if I can see. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that there's a dead lizard in there.
Oh, I do see it. Oh my gosh. He got in there and couldn't get out.
It's been in there forever. You touch it, it'll fall apart. So I just leave it alone. But it's a dead lizard. It's been in there forever. But I find stuff like this too, and in them horse harnesses, wagon wheels, but those fall apart. The wood is all crumbled, but you could get the metal part, the wheel part, and stuff. But I thought that's kind of interesting. Finding stuff like that. I just find just anything, it's interesting.
Yep. Now what's your yeah, now I've had a couple of people on the show recently that we've talked a little bit about the Aztecs and Aztec gold lately. We had Dan Dillman, who was featured on the show Lost Gold of the Aztecs on the History Channel. His family, he was one of the 3 families that were out, and he was looking down in southern Utah, Kanab area. And so what's your take on that? Some of them, and also Terry Carter was talking about that as well. And he said both of them had talked about the fact that they believe that the Aztecs actually originated in that area and then went south. And then they knew about these areas up there, and they came back to hide much of their treasure that they had to keep it away from the Spaniards. So, I mean, what's your take on the whole Aztec gold in southwestern United States? I mean, is that something you're also looking into as well, or?
Oh man, I'd love to be up there. I would own that land. I would be out there every day. I'd have a big seed hunt out there. I really, all that what they say, like on Blind Frog Ranch and stuff, and his other episodes. I mean, I'm really into that on the act. Yeah, I just love stuff like that. Let me tell you, I used to live outside of Phoenix, and I think it was a couple of days ago, they had found something to do with the Aztecs over there, even outside of Phoenix. They was just on the news. I don't know exactly what it was. So, if they went up through Phoenix, they're all up and through Utah. And can you imagine if they're finding stuff like that on Black Rock Ranch? It's over there on Skinwalker Ranch because the ranches being so close.
Right.
Because I know the producers, I talked to them, off and on, but still, I would love, it's like I keep saying, send a snake camera down in that hole, which they did, because I have snake cameras to where I go down in holes looking for the cave, and I'm pointing that there, which I'm glad I did because there's copperheads back and beyond there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I go in with snake cameras a lot of times before I start getting in that area to make sure there's no snakes.
Right.
Copperheads and rattlers. But yeah, what he, I feel what they're saying is all true. Because, I mean, look at the evidence. And it's not there. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Terry Carter, he's been involved in that for years. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Yeah. Like I said, I just had him on 2 weeks ago, Terry, or last week, Terry Carter, and it was amazing. It was so fun to listen to him.
Oh man, he could go. He's amazing, but just like those Lost Dutch in Mines, he's got one guy what on Blonde Flight Front Ranch. What he's on there twice. He was on there last week and this
Mhm.
week. What's his name? Where's the cowboy?
James Keenan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's been doing that for years too. There's
Mm,
mines all through there, and they have found some Aztec stuff up and through there. I have
mhm,
a friend that he's on the news all the time up there South Mountain, but they found a lot of the Native American writing and stuff, and then of course then that gets into UFO stuff. A lot of
mhm,
sightings up there. So you got to remember, there's even actual. Uh, I guess the Native Americans would put like UFO looking stuff on the rocks. When we was
mhm.
growing up outside of White Tanks, we rode our horses up there. We saw all this,
Wow.
because we were actually on Indian reservation grounds. I
Mhm,
mean, well, where we were at was like 2 blocks away from it, but we
mhm,
weren't on an Indian reservation because my dad was in the Air Force, so, but that's where we lived, right next to the Indian reservation. But we rode our horses up and through there because they were all our friends, all the Native Americans up through there.
mhm. Yep. Yeah. Here's a gentleman, Connor's Relics and Treasures. There are several Sam Bass locations in Texas and hid a lot of gold coins in a cave. Wow.
Yeah.
What's that?
Where was it at?
In Texas. Well, he said a lot of locations in Texas and hid a lot of gold coins in a cave.
Yeah, because like at Grapevine, before it was a lake, there was caves over there. I know about because my husband's family
Mhm.
owned that land at the time, and the government took it from them, and they were supposed to be Sam Bass playing, hiding up in there because supposedly I think it was like the fifth cousin type deal. Played cards with Sam Bass. She's
Mm.
got passed down two of those $20 gold pieces, and she won't even let me have them. Well, she's not my husband's blood, but they had filled that, made that lake, but there was a hideout there too there,
Wow.
but you can't get to that because me and Gypsy was talking about wanting to go where she has a thing where you could hook up, and I would be out here pumping that stuff, and she could go up in there, but it looked very dangerous, so we decided not to do it.
Oh, I don't know. See, that's the thing, you watch some of these guys that are going into these caves and tunnels and crawling through this stuff. I mean, I love that myself personally, but it really is dangerous. I mean, even watching, Blind Frog Ranch and watching them squeeze through these holes and down in there, it is very, very dangerous. But I mean, on the other hand, if you don't, or somebody doesn't take the risk to go in there and look, you're never going to know. So
Yeah,
you
that's
have to, I
what we
mean,
were that one. But I know when Maddie and them, they all panicked in there when they had to crawl out. They had to crawl out
yeah.
on their backs.
Yeah.
It was very dangerous, just like that Blind Frog Ranch. That
Mhm,
stuff falling down, they need to fix that before they go in, or send a big snake camera in there from now
mhm.
on. But yeah, Cedar Hill, he was saying Cedar Hill. Yes, I do have a map on that Cedar Hill. That was the part I was talking about where I cannot get into. But there is an old map at Cedar Hill where they think Sam Bass has hid a lot of his stuff there too. But it's very hard to get to that area.
Oh, where's Cedar Hill? Where
That's
is that?
outside of Dallas.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah, it's all in Texas.
wow. Man, there's a lot of history out there. My
Well,
goodness.
even in West Texas, they found a lot of that. Um, no, my mind went blank. Not I've got Cortez's gold on my mind, Santa Ana gold on my mind, Aztec.
Mhm.
There was some signs out there in West Texas around Midland, Odessa area.
Oh,
I
really?
remember out there. It's probably 25 years ago they found some signs out there. That's why I said that it's everywhere. This was not United States back then. Did not belong to us.
Right, right. Yep.
And the Native Americans, they knew where that gold was. They don't want people knowing about that,
Mhm.
because that's from the earth. Native Americans is all about keep it the way it was.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
that's very
where
true.
Blind Frog Ranch is fixing to get some bad stuff happening in them. Just
Mm,
like over there at Skinwalker Ranch, they're messing with stuff they're not supposed to, but
yeah.
we still do it.
Yeah, it's that level of
Just
curiosity that killed the
you
cat.
just break down like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I gotta see it." This
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Just be respectful. Yeah, I think
That's
is
what
the
you need
main
to
thing.
be, and that's me. Now, I remember me and Gypsy got a call after Beyond Oak Island show was going to she was here and we did a call, and this guy out of Louisiana, something about pirate treasures or something, but we would be around alligators, and we was going to do it. They
Mhm.
said they would keep us safe because there's alligators there that they wouldn't get us. Okay, we was planning on doing it until one thing that guy says, well, when we was out there melly-tech we found this sword, and we was all excited, it's like a long sword, but there was a hand connected to it.
Oh, yeah.
And after he said that, me and Jenny looked at each other. No, we don't want no part of that because that was disrespecting the dead. We don't do that.
Well, yeah,
If there's
true.
something connected to that, a human, you don't mess with that.
Yeah. Wow. Boy, I don't know. That curiosity though, I mean, you have to I don't know. It pushes you to limits to know yeah. I know, me too. And that's why I was Christina, we have to move out west. I mean, or
I would be right up there. I wish that. I mean, I always want to go Skinwalker Ranch, which I still do. I'd love to go Melly Tech in through there and watch
oh, I
the
know.
UFO stuff and such
Mhm.
forth, which all that's like I said, that guy did tell me a lot of those stories, which I don't really say much about it, but all that stuff you see over there is true. Facts.
Yep.
Okay. Blind Frog Ranch, I would get down in that. I wouldn't probably go all the way in those caves because I don't know if I could do like they were doing in there. But
I know.
I'd go outside,
Mhm.
work out through there for free just so
Yep.
I could just see it, hold
Yeah.
that stuff for
Yeah.
free. I don't get paid for anything I do.
Oh, wow.
It's
All
just
volunteer
the
work.
enjoyment in
Well, that's true. Yes, exactly. And that's kind of the way I look at it too. And there's a lot of people that feel the same way about that, just for the excitement of being able to do it. And they'll find, and we talked about that earlier, you and I, just that, when you're out metal detecting and you get that beep, 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 especially when it's on that Ace Apex from Garrett, when you get that high, 70s, 80s, 90s ping, you're like, oh, I mean, the excitement just comes right over you. It may not be anything great, but man, it's just that the
mhm,
thrill of the hunt.
mhm,
And then you digging it up, and even looking at like those bottles and stuff. And I met when I was at the Kadoha Treasure Fest, I met you know uh, several people that were involved in just finding bottles. That was their big thing. They love to find
mhm,
bottles. And Matt Howell's the same way. He liked to do that as well. And so you find those. It's all treasure. And I mentioned this to you in a pre-show. We were talking about something that most folks watching the show here tonight have heard me say. You have the different camps of people that are interested in this. You got those that just want treasure. You have those that are interested in the history, and then you have those that are both. And I'm the both. I love finding things, but I want to know the connection. How did it get there, and by whom, and when?
mhm.
That story. Everything's got a story behind it, and that's what intrigues me to no end to find that story. You can't always get the story,
No.
but
Well, that's
but
how I treasure hunt is I research it. I hear a story about something, so I go digging deep in those archives and
Mhm,
I find the truth of this and that so I know more where to go to. And I mean, to pinpoint the area where to go to. And
mhm,
mine is saving history, uncovering history so we know what history was about.
mhm,
There's been a couple of things that I did find that, I'm done with that part because it's wasn't very good history. But
yeah,
I just want to save history. I want it needs to go in museums that people look at it. Now, if it's something that belongs there in that ground to stay, then so be it. But most of it don't needs to be
mhm,
seen by people. Now,
right,
I'm not going to get rich off of it, not unless
mhm,
I can find Sam Bass's gold or Cortez's gold. And they say I could keep it. Yeah, I'm
mhm,
gonna be a billionaire, maybe. I don't know. But my thrill is like you said, history and finding it. Yeah, I like to make some money off of it, but you
mhm,
know, I just
yeah.
and it keeps me out of trouble.
Keeps you out of the bars, as somebody would say. I'm not a bar person, but it's a nice phrase to say, yeah, it keeps you out of the bars.
Keeps me out of the bars. No, I've never been a drinker, so that's fine.
Yeah, me either.
I love just digging deep and learning history. I have not just those. I got so many. I got, oh, I heard that. So I'm going to start digging in that story. I don't know
Mhm.
when to stop. I'm trying to get these books down. I can't get them done because I keep going on. I want more and more and more.
Mhm.
It's like a rabbit hole. You never get
Yeah,
there.
always. Yeah, I know. I had and I've stayed in contact with Holly Remkes, and she's one of the ones. So she was on one of the Beyond Oak Island shows
Yeah.
with Warren Getler, and they were looking into the KGC, the Knights of the Golden Circle, and those are
Um,
the folks that wanted to continue or get the war going again between the North and the South, and so they were stashing money, gold coins all over America in different places. Is that anything that you've had any leads on at all out your way? Not really?
no, mm-mm, no.
I know
I didn't.
Jesse James was involved in that supposedly as well.
Yeah. I just never really got too much into Jesse James and them, like, because mine was mainly just Sam Bass,
Uh-huh.
because it seemed like a family member, or it would just kept being tied into Sam
Right,
Bass,
right.
like something was drawing me to it. So I just been heavy into that. But yeah, there is Jesse James evidence and stuff, but I'd love to get into that, but I want to get Sam Bass's stuff
I was gonna
done.
say you get too many irons in the fire, you never get any of them.
I do. I just like this Curtis Mines. I'm going to wait on that. I want to get these two this winter, go back and forth to those two places.
Right.
Just to find, even if I find one gold piece, I'll be
Mhm.
happy. I'd
Oh,
like to
absolutely.
find the whole loot, but I'll be happy. Just something I could just put on my wall. Hey, I found it.
Yeah. I would love to even find a silver coin, and then we're gonna be going down to Florida, gonna be spending a couple months in Florida,
How
and
fun.
I got some folks lined up with, that we're going out with, Captain Joe Ziga, who was on the, another Beyond Oak Island
Mhm.
episode. Gonna be going out with him and Matt, Gattuso, and we're gonna be out on the beaches and looking for different things. He was looking for the treasure of Louis Ari
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, the pirate Louis Ari. Um, so I'm going to be out there doing some metal detecting and working with those guys. So, but you're right. I mean, if you get too many things going on,
Mhm.
you gotta concentrate on one. So is that your next area? I mean, you're continuing. When do you think you'll be out in the field again doing some
Sam
more?
Bass.
Yeah,
That's gonna be next month because we're
next month.
starting to
Cool.
get cold now. So
Mhm.
as that cactus over there starts dying out from the freeze, because yeah,
Mhm,
because it's kind of hard to get, up in there in that tall grass. That's why we had problems when we went up there and filmed.
mhm.
Matty Blake had a machete getting through all that stuff, and I made Gypsy get behind him. He's slinging that thing. I'm afraid he hit me. That's when he saw a snake, and then we went back down the hill.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Wow.
There's the snake, yeah. Well, could have
Yeah.
been a copperhead, and you don't want to mess with those.
No. Are they out in the wintertime too, down in that way,
No,
or are they
they
good?
like dormant because I was up there last time. Had my snake camera in there to look because we do think we did find at the bottom of the hill, the mountain. It's not a real big mountain, but it's considered East
Mhm,
Mountain. Well, they think that look behind there, so I sent my snake camera in through there real deep. It kept going on like 16 foot, and then that's when I was pulling it back out, and we was looking at the video. Well, because I'm actually watching the screen,
mhm.
and you can record it. It's a live video, and I'm looking, and there was a big old copperhead, and I'm like, and I was fixing to start pulling those rocks out, and it was right there by that rock.
Oh,
Was
wow.
right when I pulled it out, I said, okay, now I don't see nothing. Was right, and then I did find a few feet back. We found some silver chains like you would wear around your neck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we got to move those rocks. That might be the entrance. We don't know, but we're gonna have to wait until maybe January, mid-January. It's gonna be cold, but at least it'll die out. We could get into that area.
Yeah, yeah. That seems like the safest time to go though, and when it's
And then I
cold.
gotta get there. I'm not worried about because I'll go with the owners, but I gotta
Mhm.
get somebody to go with me out there to Springtown. That was that very first part on the episode we went to because I don't want to go by myself over there.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. So that's your next step. That's really interesting, and I really would love to hear more about that when you are able to go out. Make sure you and I will stay in touch, and I'd love to hear again and have you back on if to
Well,
find out how that's going.
well, my next before that, I'm going over here to the McCall house. It's a 1860 home. They have a basement under there where they held out two of the Native Americans under there for 2 weeks because there was a big wagon train massacre in the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting blamed. It was a chief, and then I guess just a regular Native American. They hit him out for 2 weeks. The guy wants me to go metal detect under there. Never been metal detect. I said, sure, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to get over there maybe next week to do that.
Oh,
And
wow.
also on the ground.
Uh-huh.
But he was a Confederate soldier that originally owned that house. So I'm hoping I could find some Civil War stuff there.
Oh, wow.
Because I
That
have
is so
an old
cool.
gun from that era that was passed down from me that was left behind a wall. My great aunt was opening a wall up to a farmhouse there in Iowa, Illinois, in that area. And it's got the USA on it and everything on it. It was 1876, I think, gun. And she found that behind a wall. How do you know you're not going to find something there that people just puts behind walls?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Man, that's so lucky, you to be invited to come and do that kind of stuff. I know it's hard to, the home that I am in right now that we own here is 1939, and I metal detected a little bit out in the yard, a little bit, but I keep thinking because this guy that owned this house, he's got a lot of nooks and crannies that we found in the remodeling of this place.
Because get you a snake camera. They're real cheap and start sticking it behind the walls.
Yeah, to find out I keep metal detecting, the yard, just thinking I know there's going to be a stash of coins out here someplace in this yard because
Could be. You don't know what was there before 1939,
no,
especially
that's
in that area. That's old areas.
sure is.
But yeah, it'd be nice to find something on that. The only reason why I get away with a lot of this around here is because I am the historian for my county. So that's why I always get these calls.
Yeah.
And they know that, like, for instance, I went to Charles Goodnight's, remember they did Lonesome Dove movie? Charles
Yes.
Older Loving.
Yep.
Okay, well, Charles Goodnight, he's 5 miles north of Weatherford, off 51 on the left out in this field. You had to go through the Fork and Spring, all this stuff to get over there. Well, that was his childhood home. And then they let me metal detect over there. And I says, well, I'll give you all the stuff I found, which I did find some stuff, some nails, some old wood, and some things like that, a bullet and things. But he says, oh, you can just keep it. And I'm like, well, that was really nice because now I got a piece of history of Charles Goodnight.
Absolutely. That's cool.
And then his partner, Oliver Lovin, he's buried in Weatherford.
Wow.
In the city cemetery there, like with Mary Martin, Larry Hagman from Dallas, well, he's not buried there because they cremated him, but he has some ashes there. But a lot of famous people from there. That's why this place is blowing up. The guy from Yellowstone moved here up the road.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. What's his name from the one that does Yellowstone and Landman and all those other movies?
Oh, shoot.
I know my mind went to the
I
blank.
know I can see his face, but I can't think.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat will know from Yellowstone.
Yeah. Anyway, so he moved here, and after that, everything's been blowing up. They're trying to make this Hollywood. Oh, I've been in 3 TV shows after Beyond Oak Island. One was
What were those?
That was with, you remember what was that, Ghost Hunters with Zach Bayan?
Zach Bagans. Yep.
But his partner, the producer, Nick Groff, they broke up, and he started his own deal called Death Walker.
Yep.
Well, he called me wanting to do this paranormal thing over at this old clinic in Weatherford. So I did the history part of it first, and then he finished the rest of it. And then I was on the other show hasn't come out. One of the shows has come out on, is it Trulu or something like that? It was about a bank robbery, and I was a bank teller, got robbed. And then the other one, which was pretty good, I like this one. It hadn't come out yet, but they don't know if that's going to actually go on to a movie or a TV and turn into a TV series. They're still waiting on that. They come out of Atlanta, Georgia. They were in the building. I was a bank teller. She worked me around. I got hit by the gun.
Oh,
Put,
geez.
oh, and I thought I was going to die on that episode. Yeah, I had got a few bruises. I mean, she was slinging me around. This lady, she was
Making
the
it realistic, right?
yeah. And then they shot the guy that was next to me. He falls down, blood going. It wasn't really blood, but that was wild. Yeah, but I was sore for a few days over that because she was banging me around, holding that kind of. She acts like she's trying to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of plastic, but you can still feel it. But
Mm-hmm.
it looked real. And then she just got that in my face, screaming at me and shoving me around. But it was awesome. I can't wait till I can see what it looked like. Probably look like
Let me know when that comes out. I've got to see that. That's gonna be
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, Kevin Costner. Robert put that up there. Kevin Cosner. That's who you're
Well,
talking
no,
about.
it wasn't him. It's the
Oh,
owner. The owner.
oh, oh. I don't know. I haven't watched that show,
He's
so
the producer of all the TV shows of the Yellowstone and
I
what
don't
is
know.
I can't remember his name. Taylor Sheraton. That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Okay, well, he moved up the road, up at the river. It's a getaway place we have. And after that, everything started going up, house values and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make it
What
Hollywood.
they do? Doggone it.
Yeah.
Come on, changing everything. Oh my gosh, this has been fascinating, really, truly, to hear your story and the things that you've got going on. I can't imagine. How do and like you said, you have to stay concentrated on Sam Bass. Get the Sam Bass stuff and find that gold coin, at least one,
Hmm.
and then and hopefully the mother lode. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, especially if he had those spread around in 4 different places. I think that would be so interesting to find at least one of those stashes, because if apparently, I mean, you said there's been a couple coins have shown up here and there, but the mother lode of those have not been found at all.
Now, it's probably every time when they get heavy rains, it could be breaking the ground or something
Mhm.
away. You know, I could think of, but can you imagine if you find that? So many people are going to be upset because they're out there looking for it too. There's
Mhm.
a group out in Fort Worth looking for this
Wow.
also, but they're not looking in my two areas because I'm the only one getting permission to look in
Right.
those two areas.
Wow. Well, good luck, and let me know what you find. And so I'm gonna be making another venture, probably this summer sometime out west. So
Oh, good. How
we're
about
gonna come by. We're gonna come by and see you, and I'll have my
down
detector with
here
me.
to Soldier Spring Park and we'll go see if we can find some Confederate stuff.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I would be in seventh heaven, honestly, to do
Maybe we'll
that.
find one of their guns, even buttons,
Oh,
something.
a button, a belt buckle, or
Yeah,
one of those
anything.
the pouch, the
Yeah.
US pouch buttons, those things, badges.
Anything
Oh my
interesting.
gosh, any of that stuff. I would love that.
Mhm.
That would be awesome. Well, this has been fascinating. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, well, thank
This
you.
and like I said, I'm very serious. Let's keep in touch. Let me know how your research and your finds are going. And even if you don't really find anything, it's another place where you can check off that list and let me know what you come up with, because I'd love to have you back on.
Send you some
And
videos if I run across some things.
so what's that?
I'll send some videos to you.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Thank you
That's
very
what
much.
Matty Blake and them and Lagima Brothers, all them would say. Now, if you run into something, video it, don't touch it, and send it to us. So
Mhm.
maybe they are talking about doing a second part. I don't know.
I would love for him to revive Beyond Oak Island. I really would, because there
We
was
need
some
to.
great stories that they were covering.
Mhm.
I don't know why Prometheus and the History Channel decided not to continue it, one or the other. I don't know if it was
Well,
Prometheus or
I guess it's probably because they want to find all that good stuff on Oak Island.
that. Well, yeah, that's very true,
They
and they
need
are
to
busy. I know. Yeah, there was another show that came out. It was they do Skinwalker Ranch, and
Mhm.
then there was the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch he came out with, and they had too many irons in the fire. Prometheus
Yeah.
did, so they went to Rail Splitter.
Mhm.
Actually, is the production company on that, on Beyond the Skinwalker Ranch.
Mhm.
So, but that one too didn't. They had some more of those that were filmed that never,
Yeah.
as far as I've heard, that didn't make it. They only showed four or five this season, this
Mhm.
last season, and that was it. They didn't show any of the other ones, and there was more in the can. So
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
We
but
don't have
that's
too much shows going on.
Mhm.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like that Taylor Sheraton with all that Yellowstone Landman, Tulsa. He's got like 5 shows going on. 1923 is fixing to come out. but he doesn't keep on and on with the episodes. He'll stop it because he's got to do this on this scene. And that's
Yep.
kind of like them. They have too much stuff going, I think, which is great. But they don't have it so many producers, and they got to be here, you know.
Yep.
And like that Beyond Oak Island, though, that's their baby, and
Yeah.
we need to find some stuff, some big stuff, and we all
Well,
know.
you know what? That opens the door for me
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
to follow up on these stories for them that they're not doing. So, like bringing you on and having you on and Gypsy on and all the other folks. You know, we went out to North Carolina Gold. We were talking with the guys there at that gold dredge. Man, we've been, and I was up and flying over Poverty Island, doing some stuff with Mike, and Just Grollo. So, yeah, if it's opened the door for me to be able to follow up on these stories for them and dig into it a little further. And at some point, I'm going to be really digging into, and I know I'm going to run into a roadblock. I mentioned this to you earlier, but the whole thing with the Egyptian artifacts and whatnot in the Grand Canyon.
Oh, if
That
you don't want to go,
that is an
me
amazing.
over, tie me up, throw me over, and sling me into the train. You know, I'll take some food, and then I think she fell over. That way, you get rescue scene and get on the news when I'm like holding that big old statue. Look,
I know with the military helicopters, and drones flying over our heads. Yeah, I just
jail.
why? And that's the big question there. Why would they have a no-fly zone and have certain areas of the Grand Canyon cordoned off? You're not allowed to go there if they weren't hiding something very important.
Did you ever see that little video from years ago where back in the day they videoed part of that and could see some of that Egyptian stuff?
Yeah.
Like I said, this wasn't always United States. This wasn't always Spain. They've been over here.
I know.
2,000 years ago, even.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And that's something that's a story that needs to be told.
Oh.
Why is there a lid on it? Why are they keeping it hidden? It needs to be told. We have a right to know what was going on in this country. So I don't know. We'll find out. And I'm probably going to get kicked off the air now because I brought all that up, but it's still something I've got to look into. So we'll see.
Yes. And if you ever go, I want to go.
All right. We'll hook you up. All right. Well, thank you so much, Donna. I really
with Oak Island real quick. You know, I love that show. And like I said, yes, I love the other shows, but they need to really focus on that.
They do.
And you know, that is their baby. Been on for 12 years, 12 seasons now. I mean, we watched them grow up, the little ones, and it's like part of our family. And and you know, they're so close to finding the stuff.
They are. And I think this season we're going to get some really good information out of this season. Little things that we've been, we're hearing about. Now, of course, they're all done filming and now the show's out. And Tom Burns and I talk about every episode. We go through it all. So, we just had a show last night and it was episode number 4. So, we're covering it and we're hearing that there are some significant finds this year.
Oh, yeah.
And then they left a caisson in the ground in Money Pit. There's a caisson they left in the ground. We don't know why, but there was a caisson left behind in the ground. Now, why would they do that? A lot of speculation on that one, but I think this is going to be a good year. Yep.
Yes. I love all their shows. I love.
I know.
Right? I always flute that screen.
It's treasure hunting and history.
But my main thing, what I would love to go right now is to Blind Frog Ranch.
Well,
because of the Aztec stuff, that old history. That's where I want to go. Yep. Sit me in that Indian bean stuff, and I will dig through it for you.
That was neat. I mean, I've been watching this season, Blind Frog Ranch. I've been watching the season again. And we've got James Keenan is going to be on the show next week, a week from today, awesome. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. James Keenan will be on the show with us. And he's been on Blind Frog Ranch quite a bit. He's got a lot to talk about, including the Aztec gold and all of that in this area or in your area out there or in Utah. So definitely going to want to tune in for that one as well. And but those beads that they found in the sand, they just go through that sand and there they are all in there.
This is going to be neat this next episode because you're going to see the smoke coming out of that fire pit, the chimney.
Oh yeah, up on where it soots the rock.
Yeah, you're going to see smoke coming out of there. Now, did Is there people living under there and they started a fire, or did they throw something in there to make the smoke?
I don't know. Probably threw something in there, I would think.
Yeah,
You
more
would think
likely.
so after all these years, but boy, I don't know.
More
So,
likely. I was just throwing that in there with people living in there.
there's a lot of people that have asked me, why don't you watch it?
In there, they better watch.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have asked me, why don't you cover that show? Well, I've been watching it lately. So, and James, I'm
You
sure
need
he'll talk
to.
about it a little bit.
You
So
need to. It's a very interesting show.
it really is.
All
Well,
of
it's,
those are.
yeah, it's talking about a subject that's very interesting to me right now, and that's the Aztec gold thing.
Mhm.
So, wow. All right. Well, thank you again very much, Don. I really
I
appreciate you coming
appreciate
on. An
you.
honor to have you on the show. And we will do this again when you have some more things you want to talk about. Take that video
I will.
and send it in to me or whatever. We'll put it on the show. We'll make something of it and show people what you're doing, because I think you're on a hot lead right now, and that's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see what you find.
I appreciate you and thank you.
All right. Thanks, folks, for hanging out with us here tonight and listening to the stories of Sam Bass and Santa Ana and the caves and Curtis Mine and all of that. Oh, man, it's really good. If you liked what we did for you tonight here in this presentation, please give us a thumbs up. And for that, we'll say catch you next time right here on the J Free 906 podcast. Good night, everyone.